Posthuman Enterprises presents this pointless thing called life, an audio novel performed entirely by electronic lifeforms.
Many of us average people have been baffled by the immensity of this great big universe of ours. I, for one, am baffled into silence when I hear astronomers talk about how many things there are floating around in the cosmos. I forget the exact figures, but there's something like 17 zillion stars in the galaxy and 17 zillion galaxies in the universe, or something like that. Maybe it was 7 million, or 7. Whatever, it's an awful lot of stars and an awful lot of galaxies. Then the space biologists turn up and tell us that around these stars orbit 60-12 trillion thousand planets that harbor 43,100 different life forms, or something like that. Again, the figures aren't important, it's just the sense of your own insignificance that I want to get across. Now, as we all know, and it doesn't take an astronomer or a space biologist to work this out, most of these life forms trudge around trying to earn some sort of a living. Most of the really bright ones go off to invent new and improved techno-gadgets which make all of our lives a whole lot better, while the not-so-bright ones, like me, just carry on doing vital but largely menial jobs. In my case, running a bar. What'll it be?
3 buckets of fresh lot wine.
Now, whichever category that a life form might belong to, we all earn our various livings through a process that we conveniently label work. Work is an essential part of life. Most everyone does it, if for no other reason than to acquire food, pay the bills, buy the new and improved techno-gadgets, and generally keep ourselves from moving towards the two states of existence that no one is really fond of, death and poverty. However, not everybody works. There is another category of beings that somehow manage to escape work. Such people call themselves philosophers, thinkers, and scholars, but I refer to them as weirdos, losers, and know-alls. Now, if you ask me, these people are actually afraid of work. But be that as it may, such thinkers are often nagged by a single, profound question. What's the point of it all? What is the meaning of life? Okay, so that's 2 questions, but they're basically the same. Now, everyday workers have usually got more important things to do than sit around thinking such impractical thoughts. But occasionally, even the workers of the universe sometimes suddenly become piqued with curiosity over such mind-numbing abstractions. This happened to me, for example, when one day I noticed a brooding young student named Comma, who sat for 6 straight days and a couple of bent nights in the corner of my bar, located here on the lovely planet of Alfalfa Ugly Max. After following Comma's conversation from a distance, it became obvious that she had turned the asking of these grand, abstract questions into work. In short, she had made a profession out of being a weirdo, loser, and know-all, getting into all sorts of strife and misadventure as she did so. Just a second, guy, I'm almost finished. As you listen to Comma's adventures, you might start to question how come I remember all the intricate details so well. Well, let me tell you. Unbeknownst to Comma and all the other freaks that frequent my establishment, I had just installed one of those new fly-spy surveillance systems, a network of dozens of tiny flying robot cameras, each the size and shape of a small flea. Great little gadgets they are, hovering and jumping about to make sure that none of my customers are getting up to mischief. Unfortunately, one of the fly-spy robot cameras had accidentally fallen into a large mug of Polestar ale. It soon became inebriated and went on to mate with a real flea it had found clinging to the furry inner ear of a particularly hairy bog beast. It then developed a mechanical disorder, announced it had rights of its own, and elected to just sit around and listen to Comma's drunken stories rather than doing any proper surveillance. When I finally watched the videotape that this particular fly spy had recorded, I was just about to phone up the manufacturer to complain, when I noticed that most of the bar's paying customers were also crowded around Comma, listening to her rant and rave about her travels. At first, I thought they were all just trying to chat her up, since she did possess a certain brooding allure. However, it soon became apparent that they were just as intrigued by her stories as they were with her smouldering charm. I began to wonder why this girl was so interesting. Was she some washed-up celebrity evading tax penalties? Was she a strange booze pixie giving off thirst vibes? Whatever she was, the beer kegs were running dry and the whiskey vats had emptied. Business was booming. For that reason, I saved the recordings I had of Comma's storytelling episodes. Then I hired a bunch of robo-actors to narrate the text. Yes, I know robo-actors aren't exactly wonderful storytellers, but they're non-union and they don't drink. It's a bright, sunny day, May 1st, 3001 AD, in the city of Woftis on the planet Earth. And on this bright, sunny day, we find Comma standing with many hundreds of other graduands on the gleaming, polished marbled steps of Earth's greatest university, the Victorious University of Woftis, or VU-Dub for short. Above the gleaming polished marbled steps of the Great Hall saw a dozen majestically spiraling seagulls. The seagulls aren't impressed by the marbled steps, nor are they impressed by the greatness of the university.
What the hell are they doing? It's lunchtime, dance students.
Right.
They're supposed to be feeding us sandwich scraps, not standing around in those gormless black robes. What's the point of being a city seagull if you can't get an easy meal from a university student?
You tell me.
I can just imagine what the school cousins will be saying now.
They'll be saying, come back to the sea, live the life of a real seagull, don't stay dependent on humans.
Easy to say if you like the sea, but I hate it. Noisy bloody thing, waves crashing all the time. Gives me a right headache.
And seafood, yiff. I mean, I don't mind ripping out the gizzards of baby puffins, that's okay. But fish, disgusting cold slippery things, yucko supremo.
Still, ain't much going on here.
Hey, do you think we should go down and do the sympathy thing with the students? You know, hop on one leg, try to look as though we're even poorer than they are. We might get some crumbs.
It might work if they're art students, but you don't stand a chance if they're commerce students.
How do you tell what type they are?
It's impossible to tell these days. All the students seem to be getting more and more wealthy, yet less and less generous.
Yeah, you wouldn't see any of them lost in a rubber dinghy fighting for justice.
Hey, fancy going on a bombing range?
Yeah, why not? Ain't gonna get no food, are we?
Okay, follow me.
Ew, some bird just shat on me. Don't fret, Chancellor, just wipe it off with your handkerchief. No fair. It's Armani. Here, give me that piece of paper. Thank you. Now, here's my speech. That was it, Chancellor. Well, give me your handkerchief then. Oh, I don't think so. You do think so? Let's give it here. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes. Thank you! I can't have excreta on my speech. Oh, why not? You talk crap anyway. Just introduce me and make it sound good. Certainly, Chancellor. Greetings, students. The world is full of people, and here's one of them, Chancellor Smuts.
You see before you a proud man. That proud man is me. I am a proud man. Of what am I proud, you ask? Of you. I am proud of your computational skills. I am proud of your technical prowess. And of course, I am proud of your loyalty to the ideals of this university. You are the highest ranking graduates this university has ever seen. This breakthrough in education means that the students of Earth never need attend another class again. You, the graduates of 3001, have proved that the future of education lies in chemicals, in imbibing knowledge through active chemical injection instead of passive reading and writing. Chemical learning is proactive learning. Be proud of yourselves. Now, technology is a great thing. We all know that. The purple fluid that flowed into your arms for the last 6 weeks is a technological godsend. Students can now take their degrees via 6-week intravenous sessions rather than slaving through books and papers for 4 boring years. And you students here today were the guinea pigs, the pioneers for this remarkable piece of technology. With your help, we can now spread this education revolution throughout the galaxy. Now raise your arms and throw the academic caps in the air with me as I declare you all now graduates of Victorious University of Waftis.
As all the academic caps were tossed into the air, small fireworks attached to each one of them ignited and threw them even higher. The morning sun caught the coloured metal borders of the caps to create a momentary dazzling display. Comma wasn't dazzled, however. Instead of looking at the glimmering fiery academic caps, she was looking down upon the bandage wrapped around her arm. Underneath, the wound bulged and bubbled with purple slime, as though her new knowledge was not quite yet compatible with her body. Although intravenous education passed you through the drudgery of undergraduate courses a lot quicker than the standard 4 years, it did place an enormous strain upon the brain and body of some recipients. Comma in particular felt very queasy. The other students had their arms bandaged too, but they all seemed to be far more awake and happier than Comma, cheering loudly at the now descending caps before pushing each other out the way so not to be impaled by the sharp metal edges. Within a few moments, the caps started crashing noisily into the marbled steps around Comma, throwing off sparks as they did so. One cap crashed sublimely into the head of Chancellor Smuts, knocking him to his knees. As the Chancellor battled to his feet, Comma could see the square cap sticking neatly out the top of his balding head like a piece of modern sculpture. University medics rushed to the Chancellor's aid to spray his wounds with mighty slime band-aid gas. He would soon recover, none the worse for wear. Here at VU-Dub and at universities the world over, there continued to be all sorts of debate about the growing fashion of academic cap impalement. Some commentators believed it to be a ridiculous and dangerous enterprise, while others saw nothing wrong with it. Lately, it was getting to be the case that to show that you were a really serious academic, you had to have 2 or 3 cap strike wounds. Comma herself was not sure if she really wanted to be impaled by an academic cap. Her stillness below the falling caps was more due to indecision than the desire to experience scholarly adornment. Just as she thought about moving, just as she contemplated the pain that might accompany a cap strike, she got hit by one. Nicely, evenly, squarely, it sliced into the top of her head. The next day, Comma was lying in a hospital bed. There was no complication with the cap impalement. Her skin and bone had healed nicely around the metal which pierced her skull. But there was a complication with the medical bill, and this was what a robo-nurse was trying to tell her.
You see, Miss Comma, if you can't pay, then we cannot treat you.
But you have treated me.
Yes, we have, but you should have told us you couldn't pay so we could take appropriate action at the appropriate time.
You would have thrown me out of the hospital.
We would have advised you to find alternative arrangements.
Like what?
Like coming back later when you could afford the treatment.
But I had a strip of metal whacked into my head.
As that is unfortunate. But if you knew you couldn't pay, then you shouldn't have stood under a rain of falling academic caps.
Yes, well, maybe. But that doesn't help me here right now, does it? I did get a cap in the head, and you did treat me for it. I can't be untreated, can I?
Well, you can be untreated in a certain manner of speaking.
Oh yeah?
Yes, we could break off your leg or poke you in the eye.
What good would that do?
We do it in such a way as to give you the precise amount of inconvenience and pain as the original impalement.
Well, that's very nice of you, very thoughtful, yet I must decline your offer. I need my legs to get me out of here, and without my eyes, well, I couldn't even find the door, could I?
Is there anything else that you could offer as payment? For instance, let me see. Have you any real estate? Or have you any rare gems or artwork stored within your body tissues?
Only this useless piece of metal in my head.
Well, do you have a dead pet or a dead relative or something like that whom we could dig up and use for medical experiments?
No.
Okay, how about your brain?
My brain?
Yes, a nice young brain like yours is at such a good price on the neuro market. You don't need a whole lot, just a few grams.
A few grams? Surely that's dangerous.
Yes, it is. But so is attending a graduation ceremony, yet you didn't seem to worry about that.
But I kinda like my brain. It does some of my best work.
I'm afraid there aren't too many other options available.
Alright, you can have some brain, just clean up after you finish. And could you get someone to take this metal cap out of my head too?
That will cost you an extra 2 grams.
Ugh, okay, whatever, just do it. Frickin' hospitals making money out of sick people.
It should be noted here that brain tissue is currently a very valuable commodity on Earth. This is largely due to the rise and fall of a momentarily fashionable neurotheory in Earth's recent past. Some years back it was thought that the bulk of the human brain was a superfluous redundancy, a mass of largely useless grey matter that just hung around waiting to go wrong. Madness, for instance, was linked to redundant brain tissue becoming active, and thinking too much. That was also a symptom that too much brain was no good for anyone. Nowadays, this theory has fallen into disrepute on Earth, and all the baby boomers from yesteryear are now trying to beg, borrow and steal back the brain tissue that they had removed. Thus, brain matter is now trading at a higher rate than an equivalent volume of gold. With her bill paid, Comma was discharged by the robo-nurse. It was now time for her to look for work. But where? Where could she find a job? With a degree in philosophy and part of her brain taken out, who would hire her? The answer was obvious. The university.
Hello, Victoria's University Recruitment Officer. How can we be of help?
I want a job.
Well, that's what we do. What sort of job do you want?
I don't know. One that comes with money.
Ah, so what are your qualifications?
I've just graduated with a BA in philosophy.
Philosophy? Well, let me see. Is that like philanthropy?
No.
Oh, it's just we have some fundraiser positions available and also some volunteer groups who need millionaire patrons. Are you a millionaire?
No. And actually, philosophy and philanthropy are different things.
Well, how about a job as a Philistine? Lots of the more technical departments are always in the need of Philistines.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I'm not a Philistine and I'm not a philanthropist. I am a philosopher. They're completely, utterly different.
But they sure do sound the same, don't they? They all start with Phil.
Yeah, so does Phil Collins, but I'm not him either.
No, of course you're not. So, what do philosophers actually do then?
They investigate the fundamental essence of the human condition.
I'll just look in the no qualifications needed section. Here's one. The Jupiter campus needs a laboratory service manager. Does that sound good?
Not really.
Oh, here's one that might suit. Weapons delivery officer. Required to deliver equipment from the engineering department of the VU Dub to various clients around the galaxy.
Weapons delivery officer?
Yes.
Why does the university need a weapons delivery officer?
Deliver weapons, of course. Oops. Except this is a class level 5 security position. Have you got level 5 security?
No.
Well, I can't apply, I'm afraid.
Alright.
Oh, and actually I shouldn't have even told you about that job. So can you just forget that I mentioned it to you?
Yeah, alright.
No, really, I'm serious. I'd like you to forget about it.
Yeah, okay, I've forgotten.
Really?
Yes, I suppose so.
You suppose so? Well, that's not good enough.
How can I really forget it? You just told me about it a second ago.
Well, pretend to forget.
Well, I did. I had. I will.
Because you're not even allowed to know about it.
I've forgotten, alright? Jeez. In fact, I didn't forget about it originally, but I have now because of all your darn tortuous questions.
Well, that's what I wanted. Now, where was I? I've forgotten.
Oh, good lord. You're looking for a job for me.
Oh, yes. Jobs. Jobs in philosophy. No, not much here. I'm sure you need a job that earns money.
Yes, I need money, I'm sorry to say, unless you can find me a job that comes with free accommodation and free food.
No, we don't have jobs like that, I'm afraid. But here's something. A philosophy assistant wanted to help to research a book about the meaning of life.
Sounds good.
Yes, righto. The contact person is a guy in the Andes. I'll send you his contact details now. Sent. Done. Have you got it?
Great, got it. Thanks.
Oh, just
Bye.
one thing. Oh, well. She'll find out.
Hello?
Hi, I'm looking for a guy named Oster.
Why?
It's about a job, the philosophy assistant job. You know, the meaning of life book.
Yes. Where's the van?
What van?
You have your own transport, yes?
No, I came by subway.
Ah, damn it. You're supposed to have your own transport.
Am I?
Yes, didn't the recruitment agent tell you that?
No, sorry.
Well, come in anyway. Quickly.
Hey, what's the rush?
Is anybody out there?
Out where?
Out there on the street.
Some people, just passers by. Why?
Nobody in uniform? No cops or anything?
Not that I noticed. Why? Are you a criminal?
Aren't we all? So what's your name?
Comma.
And you haven't got a space van?
No, I'm just here for the job. The philosophy job.
Okay. You've got the job. Don't worry. It's we need to transport. There's a used spacecraft sale lot across the road. Have you got any money?
No.
Oh.
This is my first day of work, remember?
Yes, quite. Well, shall we steal the space van or pay for it?
Paying for it might be less trouble.
I was afraid you were going to say something like that. Looks like I have to use my head.
Yeah, you'll think of something.
No, I mean I'll have to use my head, my brains, for payment. Hold this for a second.
What is it?
A brain tissue extractor.
Looks like a wine corker.
A what?
A wine corker. You know, to open a bottle of wine.
No thanks, we haven't got time for a drink, unfortunately. Here, press the extractor against the back of my head.
Listen, can we talk about the job before I start taking your brain out?
Bit stuck for time, have to get some brain for the space van. Press hard. Now pull it out slowly. Has the vial come out?
Yes.
Has it got brain in it?
Yep, 4 grams it says.
Good, should be more than enough. Now in a moment we'll open the door and walk quickly to the other side of the street, okay? Understand?
Yes, I know how to walk.
And when we get there, I'll rush to the sales office and give the sales guy the vial while you get into the van and rev it up.
Yeah, sure. But do we have to do this so soon?
Yes, right now. Let's go. Just walk normally.
I always do. So who do you think is out here?
Don't know. Hopefully no one.
You two, stop right there!
There! Run, Connor! Run! Get in the van! Red and black one will do.
Stop immediately or we will open fire!
But why? Who are these guys?
No time! Get into the van and get it ready for launch. Just a second.
Okay, how do I start this thing? Engine starter, auto launch sequence. Come on, Oster.
Please do not fire up the engines. You will be forced to fire high-energy rifles at you. Here we go. You asked first.
Let's go! Go!
Who are those guys, Oster? And why are they shooting at us?
Head north, past the mountains. Good. Hovercoppers! They're heading for us.
Oh my god, a whole damn squadron of hovercoppers. And they're shooting at us. We have to stop us to see what they want. Just talk to them.
No use. Keep going over their volcanic homes in the distance.
But they want to kill us.
That's why we want to get away from them.
Will you fly the friggin' van then? Here, take the controls, you weirdo criminal.
No, I can't fly. I never learned. Keep heading for the cone.
We're never going to escape them. We have to give ourselves up.
Give up and they'll kill us.
Do you know that for sure?
I suspect it very thoroughly. Now fly over there near that cone. Do it in. Yes. Now fly over the cone.
It's erupting. The damned volcano is erupting.
Fly over it, quick.
We'll be killed.
Not necessarily.
This is insane.
insane to fly into an erupting volcano? What chance have they of surviving such a feat? And who is it that is shooting it, and Oster anyhow? These are the mysteries to be solved in future chapters of this pointless thing called life.
This pointless thing called life was produced by Alan Marshall and Sylvia Lottimer for Posthuman Enterprises. The music for this audio novel was composed by Andre Owen, with incidental music by Steve Gallagher.
Humans are advised that self-extraction of brain matter may result in the reduction of mental capacity.
Posthuman Enterprises presents This Pointless Thing Called Life, an audio novel performed entirely by electronic lifeforms.
In the last episode, we met Comma and Oster, two young human scholars, just as they were flying a small spacecraft into an erupting volcano. Did they survive? Or were they burnt into crisp little pieces, thus prematurely terminating this whole story? Volcanoes are, of course, quite large things. Humans, in comparison, are very small. We can gain some sort of understanding of this relationship if we listen to the sounds that both give out from a distance of 100 meters. Firstly, the volcano. Secondly, the human. Such a staggering discrepancy in power might well tip the odds in favor of the volcano. However, there are other sounds we might consider before contemplating Comma and Oster's demise. For instance, the following sound. All of these sounds taken together are suggestive of an amazing survival. Let's see if that is true.
Whoa! How about that for a ride? Nothing like surfing a volcanic plume to get your heart pumping.
My God, Oster, are you insane?
Obviously not. Look, the volcano blasted us safely into orbit. The cops are 100 kilometers below us. Time to celebrate.
Why are the cops after you anyhow?
They weren't real cops. They were unicops.
Unicops? What the hell are unicops?
University cops. Security police from Victoria's University.
Since when did the university have cops? And why are they after you?
I don't know. Probably students' loans.
You mean to tell me they were shooting at us because you haven't paid some stupid student loan?
Could be.
I don't believe it.
Might be something else.
So what are we gonna do now?
Well, I'd really strongly prefer to get as far away from Earth as possible.
What about the book?
What book?
The book! The reason I contacted you. The philosophy book.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Or was that just a ruse? It was, wasn't it? You were just wanting a space van. Someone with transport. Jeez,
sorry.
and I just the sucker with the big S painted on my head. Here was I thinking some real scholar wants to hire me to do something relevant to my degree, but no, just some weirdo space criminal. I bet you're not even a philosopher.
No, but I used to be a scholar. I used to be a sociologist of thought.
Yeah?
Listen, Comma, we can go and do the research if you want. Write the book. I mean, it'll be good. It'll give us an excuse to get away from Earth. Remind me, what was the book supposed to be about?
The meaning of life.
Oh, yeah.
What's so funny?
Ah, nothing. It's just a pointless subject, so...
You thought of it.
Only because I knew it would attract somebody's interest.
But why is it a pointless subject?
Because there is no meaning to life.
There isn't? How do you know that? You're not even a philosopher.
And I'm glad too. Philosophers are all screwed in the head.
Why?
Why? I don't know. You have to ask them that.
No, but why do you say that?
Because philosophers think they discover meaning in the universe, when all they ever really do was invent it. Trust me, there ain't no divine being sitting around in heaven guiding us, and there ain't no magic evolutionary process driving us on towards a better existence. Life, my dear comma, is just one pile of crap followed by another.
Sounds a bit depressing.
Don't blame me, blame the universe.
I bet there is a meaning to life deep and hidden somewhere. We just haven't found it. Yet.
And that's what you want to do, huh?
Well, why not?
How quaint. Here, want a drink?
What is it?
Kiwi fruit wine. The best vintage.
Sure. So what do we do now? Are we gonna do a book on the meaning of life or what?
Let's just change the focus a bit. We'll zoom around the far reaches of their galaxy, asking aliens what they think the meaning of life is. Sort of a sociological study of beliefs, rather than the search for the one single ultimate meaning.
Sounds alright, but how do we find these aliens? And how do we talk to them once we find them?
Let's go shopping first then, shall we? We'll head off to the Neptune Sky Mall. You can pick up a map and decide where to go, and I'll get a translating device.
Radar warning. Radar.
What is it?
Space Copper's on the radar. Time to go, I'd say. Here, I'll hold your drink while you drive.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for that.
Space drive engaged.
Whenever Oster had drunk too much kiwi fruit wine, he would usually become driven by an insatiable desire to go off somewhere to steal things. The Neptune Sky Mall, a huge shopping platform floating in the outer atmosphere of Neptune, was his immediate target this time round. The Sky Mall was an odd assemblage of both legal and illegal businesses. There were establishments devoted to the selling of human organs, the bartering of slave clones, and the swapping of enormous quantities of various sexual fluids. Within this array of strange shops, Oster was standing in front of one which was actually quite normal and average looking. An eyewear store that provided for the optical needs of Neptunians through the technical wizardry of bionic optometry. In his half-drunken state, Oster became mesmerized by the elaborate display video of the eyewear shop.
Now is the time to look at a pair of Biomax 5 bionic eyes. We have shades for all species. Purple, puce, passion fruit, and pink eye. Yes, the pea shades are making a comeback this season. The Biomax 5. Don't you deserve the best?
Why, yes I do.
Oster was usually immune to such ego-satisfying marketing techniques, but he had stood there before the video with the deadening effect of alcohol flowing through that part of the brain controlling aesthetic judgment. He was also watching the whole scene through such scratched and smudged bionic eyeball lenses of his own that he began to think what a good idea a new pair might be.
Look at them, just begging to be stolen.
Ah, not so good them eyeballs. They're too damn itchy.
Huh?
And having itchy eyeballs is the worst, I can tell you, especially when you've got no fingernails.
Right.
But then, I found some of this OQ-Ease fluid down the pharmacy. Wonderful stuff. Just ease the itchiness all away.
Who are you and why are you telling me this?
Me? Oh, I'm nobody. Just a sad and lonely old robot.
You're a Tizer, aren't you?
Yes, I'm a Tizer. I'm sorry for bothering you.
In these days of widespread consumer skepticism of advertising, few people are ever really convinced by the manufacturer's claims about their products. There is, it can be stated, a crisis in marketing. How do you get people to buy your stuff when people either know it's not as good as you're making out, or they are actually turned off by hearing about it? The answer? Tizers. Tizer marketing strategies rely on the old-fashioned method of word of mouth to increase product profile. After years of expensive research, it became apparent to most advertising companies that the most successful form of marketing was via word of mouth. For instance, no one had ever seen an infomercial on the rhythm method, yet by this technique of birth control, the population of Saturn VII had steadily increased for nearly 50 years. Now, in order to take advantage of the understated success of word of mouth as a sales technique, one advertising company decided to invent Tizers. Though they didn't call them that, of course, they used an acronym, Commerce-Related Android People. Tizers, or CRAPs, came in all shapes and sizes. Some were long and slender, others squat and fat. They also came in various forms. Sometimes they were real people, usually starving drama students, while at other times they were hologram projections. Most often, however, they were mechanical android robots, sculpted rather clumsily to look like average people. What Tizers did was this. They mooched around public places, shopping malls, commuter trains, airports, etc., and they struck up impromptu conversations with the people there. Sometime into the conversation, they would then drop in a plaudit or two for some product. As you would expect, the general public did not, as a whole, respond congenially to just anybody who approached them. Therefore, the Tizers were chosen or made to look like the sort of desperate, lonely people who might well want to strike up a conversation with any passing stranger.
Biomax 5s. Oh, lying in a Felsland box. Oh, beautiful.
Yes, they are. And they don't itch really.
So tell me, how does a personable robot like you become a Tizer? Did you lose your job as a ticket dispenser or something?
Oh, it's a long story. Shall I tell you?
Yes.
Well, many years ago on Europa, I fell in love with a toaster oven. You see, back in those times, it wasn't the done thing. What are you doing, sir? You shouldn't really pick me up, sir.
This won't hurt a bit.
But, sir, you might drop me. Sir, please.
Just stay quiet for a second while I throw you through the window.
I thought you wanted to hear my story.
Maybe some other time, robot. Come here, you beauty. Yes, you're coming with me.
When he had put sufficient distance between himself and the shop he had just stolen from, Oster stopped from running and acted all casual. Because he was half drunk, this was quite an easy thing for him to do. He casually walked into a homeware store, then casually took the felt-lined carry case out of his pocket. He opened it to look at the bionic eyes, and then, with a spoon he found in the kitchen utensils section, he casually flipped one of his old eyeballs out of his head. Equally casually, but with much inner anticipation, he lifted one of the Biomax eyeballs from its felt-lined case and attempted to put it into his empty eye socket. What Oster had not accounted for was the size of the Biomax eyeballs. Gigantic things they were, size 11 or 12. He pushed them hard with the palm of his hand, but they would just not go in. He tried to lever them in with a spoon. No luck.
What sort of goggle-eyed freak were these?
Finally, he grabbed a meat tenderizer from a shelf, held it in front of his face, then thumped it against the stubborn eye. He did this a few times, but the bionic eye still did not insert properly into his awaiting socket. The whole exercise of hitting the new eyeball as it rested against his face was, of course, quite tricky, since he had only one eye to watch the incoming hammer, and it usually closed instinctively when the meat tenderizer was just about to make contact. Because of this inherent trickiness, Oster had a number of large wounds appearing on his forehead and on the bridge of his nose. These complications were just beginning to deter Oster when, with one final whack in just the right spot, the Biomax was squeezed into place.
Yes!
He twitched his eyelids to get the new bionic eye working, but he was disappointed to find that the vision was fractured and broken just as the bionic eye was fractured and broken. He looked beyond the array of kitchen utensils in front of him and out the shop's window to the crowd, while his right eye, the old bionic eye, focused upon these people through a few scratches and smudges. His new bionic eye's vision was much more distorted and seemed to be operating like a fly's eye, relaying many more thousands of people, all arranged into a kaleidoscope of tiny diamond patterns which the meat tenderizer had left on the Biomax lens.
Very psychedelic, but it's just not gonna work.
He then plunged the spoon back into his left eye socket, trying to get it behind the Biomax eyeball so he could lever it out. The fit was so tight, however, that all he managed to do was lodge the spoon in his eye socket.
Oh, hell.
Just then, an android customer rounded the corner of the kitchen utensil aisle, muttering to himself something about kitchen sieves. Oster spoke up to the android, suggesting the sieves could be found in the next aisle. The android looked up to thank Oster for this advice, but the words never left his mouth. Instead, he stood there staring in fright at the bleeding wounds on Oster's forehead, the spoon handle sticking prominently out of Oster's left eyeball, and the large meat tenderizer he was waving around towards the sieves.
Are you okay?
Yes, I just have something in my eye.
I see.
Don't worry, I'll get it out.
The android walked away very quickly and out of the shop, muttering to himself something about humans being organic pests. Comma then resumed his battle with the eyeball in earnest. Picking up an expensive-looking silver dessert fork, he jabbed it into the lens of the new eyeball, trying to lodge it far enough in so that it would get some traction when pulled. Jabbing and gouging the fork and spoon into the eye's electronic innards, the eye's vision suddenly became blurred and dark. Then bright and clear, and then blurred and dark again. Then after Oster had driven a corkscrew into another part of the recalcitrant eye, and an apple corer into his foot just to see if that would help, the Biomax 5's vision suddenly sparkled into a single, clear, highly magnified image. Oster looked out across the window that stood behind the kitchen utensils, and his brand new, severely utensilized eye focused in upon a distant object. The object was a startlingly beautiful object, at least to Oster. It lay in a pretty felt-lined case behind the display window of an expensive-looking shop. The object was, and these words rung through Oster's mind like sirens to a sailor,
A multi-vox 5000 pocket translator. Now that's what I really need.
Out of this drunken afternoon in the Sky Mall, Oster had acquired a pocket translator, 2 bionic eyes, somewhat broken, a number of kitchen utensils, and also, after some more imaginative shopping, 4 pints of alien blood, a case of kiwi fruit wine, 3 cheese sandwiches, and a pregnant hamster. Comma, in turn, had bought a map. The map was the singularly most useful item, since it showed them how to get out of the Sky Mall and away from the growing hordes of security police that were tracking Oster.
I dub thee Ladybird. May the gods protect thee and all who sail in thee.
Hello, Comma.
Hiya, Oster. Sorry, I just used your last bottle of wine to christen the space van.
It's okay, I bought some more. Ladybird, you're a cute name for a spacecraft. Did you get the map?
Yep, it's inside the van.
Good. Let's go, shall we?
Oster, I was thinking about grabbing some lunch here on the Sky Mall.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Why not?
Because of them.
Check them out over there. Do it now.
Cops! Oh, jeez, Oster. What the hell do you do to attract cops all the time?
It's just my charisma.
And I was looking forward to having a nice hot meal.
I've got some cheese sandwiches you can have. Here, look.
You're very nice. But why is the cheese all hairy?
It's a penicillin fungus. I bought the sandwiches from one of their medical eateries. They specialize in products which can be consumed as both medicine and food at the same time.
Oh.
This alien blood came from the same place. If we don't need it for blood transfusions, then we can just drink it. It's very nourishing.
Lovely. Okay, buckle yourself in. We're getting out of here.
Launch sequence start.
So, Oster, are you ever gonna tell me why the cops are after you?
Yeah, but I don't really know myself. Not for certain.
Well, you must have some idea.
Yeah, well, could we talk about this later? I think it's wise to leave the solar system ASAP.
Yeah, fine. But where are we going?
Far away. I'll check the map. Just a second.
Well?
How about this planet here? It's called Kank. It's actually the farthest away planet in the entire galaxy. It'll take maybe a few days to get there on wormhole drive.
Okay then, plug in the coordinates and let's go.
Wormhole drive engaged.
The Kankers as a people had had very few alien visitors to their planet. Once upon a time, some centuries ago, a band of intrepid weasel beings from the planet Fungello had stopped in for a cup of coffee, but the Kank took an instant dislike to them, saying they looked funny, before aiming a battalion of laser weapons at their spaceships and firing away relentlessly. The weasel beings left without their coffee and have not returned since.
Ah, there it is. Kank. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
A nice shining virgin world ready for us to explore. Let's go do it.
We had better send them a message first.
Oh, all right. But what do we say?
We should tell them that we're here on a peaceful mission. Our mission to investigate the meaning of life.
Uh-huh.
And tell them that we're from Earth, and that it's a long, long way away. And tell them that we're unarmed.
Oh, God, I can't be asked saying all that. I'll just say hello.
Message recording.
Hello, Cankers. Hello, Cankers.
Message sent.
Perhaps I should have told them we've got gifts.
What gifts?
Maybe we can give them this cloth. It's quite an interesting piece of earthware, don't you think? Nice floral motif, with a little French proverb on it.
Property of Hotel L'Astoria. Did you steal this too?
No, it came with the hamster. Where is that little thing? It's having babies, you know.
I hate to say it, Oster, but I don't see how this cloth is immediately recognizable as being a gift.
You think?
Yeah, look closely. Too many suspicious stains on it.
I thought they were motifs.
No, not with that smell. So I suggest you refrain from using it as a gift, else the Cankers might feel insulted and blast our heads off. Oh, what are you doing now with it? Oh, Oster, don't use that disgusting cloth to wipe down your wine glass.
Why not?
Because the germ transfer ratio is 5-to-1 from the cloth towards the glass.
At least the glass looks cleaner now.
Ugh, why don't you just go and lick that rodent's butt and save yourself some time?
I'll just get rid of that crusty bit there. Perfect.
When are these Cankers going to reply, Oster? We've been in orbit for ages.
Don't know.
Shall we go and investigate?
Well, we really should wait for a reply. These first contacts can be a little tricky. What's your rush anyhow?
Oh, I'm just itching to investigate my first alien planet. And I want to put all that stuff I learnt at the university to some use.
So what did you learn down there on Earth anyhow?
Philosophy, you know that.
Yeah, but what specifically? I mean, did you learn about Aristotelian ethics? Or about Jean-Paul Sartre's existentialism?
I don't know really. I can't really remember anything specific.
Not surprising, really.
Why do you say that?
Well, you're one of those new chemical graduates, aren't you?
Yeah, I did my degree via intravenous injection.
Well, I don't want to sound offensive, but I don't see how you can actually learn anything that way.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just a little skeptical about the idea that learning can be accomplished using nothing but chemicals. I mean, learning is about interacting with other people, developing skills which enable you to assess and act upon what other people say and do.
But chemical learning is the new thing in education. It's the symbol of progress.
Yeah, that's what the university says.
Are you suggesting the university is just fooling its students?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they were just pumping lemonade into the students' bodies, as that the whole thing was just a money-saving scam to bolster university profits.
You're really a very cynical person, you know that?
Yeah, I do know that. But the problem with being a cynic is not the fear of being wrong, but the danger associated with being right.
Yeah, whatever you say. So, what are we gonna do about these Cankers? They still haven't replied. Do you think it's time to investigate?
Yeah, alright. But let's be cautious.
I'll be as cautious as a bottle of whiskey at an AA meeting.
De-orbit procedures initiated.
With the Ladybird's view screen turned on, they decided to descend from orbit to a height of about a mile above the planet. They looked at the Kank landscape from this height and remarked on its beauty. Lovely rolling crimson-capped waves washed up from a wide orange sea onto golden-red beaches. Inland, great blue swathes of lush forest seemed to be growing and shrinking in size with unnerving rapidity. A curious visual phenomenon, since at one moment the land was covered with shining blue vegetation and at another the orange ground was laid bare. Then another moment later, the blue forest reappeared again. This peculiar effect so attracted Comma's interest that she flew the Ladybird down to hover just above the forest, or more accurately, just above where she reckoned the forest would be when it returned again. As they waited for the forest to reappear, Oster spotted what seemed like a collection of dwellings, great conical seashell-shaped buildings. At this point, they repeated the message to the Kankers.
Hello, Cankers.
Again, no response. Comma guided the ladybird even lower. When they got to within 50 yards of the orange surface, their line of vision was suddenly broken by a stark blue shaft of something. Then another blue shaft descended suddenly straight into the ladybird's bow. The space van jerked uncontrollably from the impact, then was sent into a violent tumbling motion. Pitching and spinning madly, Comma lost all power over the controls. Within moments, they were plummeting in a death spiral towards the ground.
We need to start the auto-stabilizers. Find the Armstrong button, Oster.
I don't think the space van has got an Armstrong button.
What do you mean there's no Armstrong button? What sort of freak would buy a space van without an Armstrong button?
Someone who doesn't know what an Armstrong button is.
An Armstrong button is what starts the auto-stabilizing device. There's one installed on all spacecraft. Well, almost all. Not this friggin' piece of crap.
So why is it called an Armstrong button?
It's named after Neil Armstrong.
Who?
Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon. But before he landed on the moon, he did this fantastic life-saving spin-controlling maneuver with the spacecraft, which is where the Armstrong button gets its name. It's supposed to save the lives of people in a spinning spacecraft.
But we haven't got one.
No!
So our lives aren't going to be saved.
Maybe not.
Oh dear.
What will become of the ladybird when it hits the ground? Are Comma and Oster sure to die? Will their twisted and broken remains be eaten by the alien Kankers? And what do the hamster babies have to do with it all? Tune in to the next episode for answers to these beguiling questions.
This thing called Life was produced by Alan Marshall and Sylvia Lottifer for Posthuman Enterprises. The music for this audio novel was composed by Andre Owen, with incidental music by Steve Gallagher.
Posthuman Enterprises presents This Pointless Thing Called Life, an audio novel performed entirely by electronic lifeforms.
The planet Kank, a beautiful blue and orange orb floating serenely in the darkness of space. According to most star maps, the planet Kank is the farthest inhabited planet in the galaxy. This might be one reason why there had never ever been any messages passed between Earth and Kank, since, given the enormously slow speed of radio waves, which just amble along at the speed of light, it would take 70,000 years for a hello message from Earth to find its way clear across the galaxy to Kank. Faster-than-light spaceships with black hole speed stripes have, of course, made radio a rather outdated medium for such long-distance chats. But even so, the Kankers had never really wished to say hello to passing space travelers. They're just not the chatty type. Despite this, the philosophical opinions of the Kankers were nevertheless well known to all intelligent species in neighbouring star systems. It is clear, for instance, that the Kankers regard themselves as the defenders of photosynthetic lifeforms, those vegetable members of the universe who make their food from sunlight, rather than through the messy business of stalking, catching, and then eating other things. According to the Kankers, plants are not slow and dim-witted as most animal creatures believe, but actually quite lively and talented. To support these conclusions, the Kankers sometimes spoke of the accomplishments of some of the more advanced plant species. For instance, the gold algae from the Drozen snow worlds, a species noted for their skillful composition of oboe concertos. and the Quillidian meebor bush from Gammy Gumrodney, which had once won a refrigerator and 2 tickets to Phantom of the Opera on a radio quiz show.
Right, the capital of France is not Ecuador.
From these expressed opinions, it might be assumed that the Kankers were a plant-loving species, that they adored and cherished all things vegetable, from the tiniest piece of green slime to the mightiest tropical forest. Before exploring this assumption, however, we must first get back to the story, back to the fate of the intrepid scholars whose lives we have been following. As you will remember, Comma and Oster were in a spot of bother when we left them last. Their space van, the Ladybird, had been hit by a large, unidentified ascending blue column, which had turned them upside down and sent them spinning wildly towards the surface of the planet Kank.
We're completely out of control.
Yep.
We're tumbling to the ground.
Yep.
Is there nothing we can do?
Nope.
So this is it. We're really going down. My life is flashing before my eyes.
That's just the view out the window.
The space van tumbled and span lower and lower, but as it did so, it swiped itself against the long blue column that had sent them spinning in the first place. Then the Ladybird hit more blue columns that were rising from the surface and swaying in the air around the space van. The lower it tumbled, the more dense became the forest of columns, and the more times the Ladybird sideswiped them. The columns were rather fleshy and soft, but incredibly strong, absorbing the kinetic energy of the spinning space van. Through sheer freaky luck, the contact between the edge of the Ladybird and the fleshy columns slowed down the rotation and descent of the space van just enough so that it hits the ground as gently as a child spinning top.
Yes.
Upside down they were, but Comma and Oster were safe.
You know I was meant to land like that.
Yeah, right. How do we get down from here?
Be careful when you unbuckle your seatbelt, Oster. I said be careful. You have to do it like this.
Yeah, you showed me. What was that?
All your bottles of kiwi fruit wine just fell on the floor. I mean, the ceiling.
Oh, cripes. I hate gravity. It's always screwing things up. Couldn't you have landed the right way up?
Don't blame me. I didn't invent gravity. Blame the universe.
Frickin' no good universe.
When you're through moaning, shall we go out and see what sort of planet we've crashed on?
Yeah.
Good.
Just a minute, Comma. Let me first check the environmental readouts. Atmosphere is breathable, radiation non-damaging, and the land is traversable.
Let's go then.
Whoa, this place is weird.
Yeah. What's that foul stench?
Yeah, it's the atmosphere. Disgusting, huh? Block your nose with your sleeve.
I am, but it's not working. Ugh.
Well, try sticking your fingers up your nose.
I'm doing that too, but it's not working either.
Sure is a determined stench. You know, it smells like dog puke.
Yeah, dog puke that is curdled and then moulded. Then been eaten by another dog with a bad tummy problem and then vomited up again.
Foul.
Wow. Hey, over there, Oster, look.
Where?
There, it's the Kankers. They're coming out of those shell-shaped buildings.
Oh yeah. They're all orange and blue too, just like the rest of the planet.
And just as weird as well. They ain't got no legs, or arms, or heads. They just have flappy things sticking out from transparent guts.
And what are those holes all over the flappy things?
Eyes, I think. Or mouths. Oh god, I don't know.
They're coming this way.
Greetings, Kankers. We are from Earth. Oster, it's saying something. That weird sound is speech. Point the translator at them.
Trees? You see any trees, Comma?
No. I see shell-shaped buildings. I see little orange ponds with 3-headed froggy things swimming in them. And I also see a lot of scattered blue mounds upon the surface. But I don't see any trees.
Me neither. I'll ask them what they're talking about. What trees?
We don't see any trees.
That was you frightened them away.
Ah, well, we are sorry about that. We didn't realize trees could be frightened.
By smell or anything else. Hey, Oster, is the translator working properly?
Yep, it's working fine. But there's an infinite number of bizarre things in the universe, and if the translator doesn't know for sure what some alien phrase is referring to, it just does its best.
Oh, so they could be saying we frightened away their children, or their cattle. Or perhaps they're not talking about anything being frightened at all. Perhaps they're discussing the best way they might like to prepare our brains for dinner.
No. It's only the tree phrase that the translator is having trouble with. See? It's highlighted in red. There must be some tree-like thing around here somewhere that's making the translator use the word tree.
Well, I don't see any frickin' trees. Nor anything tree-like. No large bushes, no leafy poles, no sticky uppy green things at all.
So where are these trees you speak of? So that we might prove to you our intention is not to frighten them.
Trees are very important. Trees give life. You see them, you take life.
Well, our apologies for your trees.
Did he just say shut up?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
What are they doing now?
Nothing. They're not talking to each other. They're not talking to us. They're just standing there doing nothing.
Well, what should we do?
Perhaps we'd better do the same.
Look, Oster. Those small blue mounds dotted about the surface are slowly opening up.
Yeah.
Wow, and look, those blue things. They're rising out of the mounds. They're going up and up and up.
Look, over there, there's more of them.
Ah, the place is full of the things. A whole forest is forming right before our eyes.
Ah, they must be the same things we saw from orbit. That's why the forest looked like they were appearing and disappearing, because these blue columns were rising and falling from the ground.
So perhaps we did frighten their trees when the space van was crashing.
Yeah.
Very nice trees you have here.
Trees give life.
Do they?
Well, that's what we would like to speak to you about. About life. Or more specifically, about what life means to you.
No, we want you to go away.
Oh.
And to be done to twist or not to go away. Do something nasty.
Why do they keep saying that we're smelly? This planet must be the worst stinking planet in the whole universe.
Yes, to them, it's us that stink.
Go away now.
Go away now.
Or else what? Oh God, the bugger just shot me in the leg!
Not that bad. It's only a graze, you're not gonna die.
You bloomin' dumbass things for an alien to do.
Calm down, Oster. Now stop your moaning and stay still.
He shot me before he finished his warning.
Shut up, will ya? I'm gonna have to drag you out of here. Sorry, Oster. Here, sit on one of these blue mounds, just for a moment. It looks nice and soft.
You know we're heading in the wrong direction, Connor. The space van is over there.
But so are the Kankers.
What are they doing?
They seem to be chanting out insults. I think they're happy because they shot you.
Ah, freaks. You freaks!
They don't seem so interested in us at the moment. We had better make good our escape.
Connor, do you feel that?
What?
That soft splotchy feeling.
No.
I think I'm sinking. I'm dissolving into this mouse thing. I'm being eaten.
Hold on, I'll stop. Hold my hand. I wonder where we are now.
I don't know. It's hard to see. There's only the faintest orange light in here. I think we are in some sort of cave.
You're in a tuber.
What? Who is that?
It was me. You're in a tuber.
Who's me?
A tuba? You mean we're in a gigantic underground brass instrument?
You're not that sort of tuber. The other sort. You're in an underground stem.
Oh.
Or actually, to be precise, you're in a hollowed-out cabin inside an underground stem.
But who are you?
And where are you?
And why are you speaking Earthling?
I am an earthling.
Oh my God!
The orange light inside the cavern suddenly brightened, revealing the monstrous, tenuous being that had just spoken to Comma and Oster, and the chains that bound it within a cage to the dark cavern walls. Meanwhile, just above those cavern walls, outside on the surface, other surprising events unfolded. These were not very pleasant events, though. In fact, they were terrible, disgusting, violent events, involving unnecessary cruelty and brutality. Given that I, the narrator, am not a cruel or brutal person, I shall not narrate to you the exact details of the events. Suffice it to say that the results will become known soon. Until then, it's best to stay back in the cavern with Oster and Comma and the creature they have just found.
My God, you're a
beach tree. Yes, I come from Earth, just like you.
Yeah, but earthling beech trees don't talk.
They do with their being. The Kankers have been doing nasty experiments, injecting me full of alien muscle tissue so that I can talk and walk and run and jump and do all sorts of things. Even play the accordion if I ever wanted to.
Have you ever wanted to?
Who would want to?
Well, it might be a neat party trick. An accordion playing tree.
I never go to parties.
Why not?
Because I'm in a cage, and all the parties are on the outside.
So why are you in a cage?
So I don't get away, I suppose. Isn't that what cages are for?
I guess.
Well, if it's not for that, I haven't found any other use for it.
Right.
But look around. I'm not the only one. All of us here, we are all experimental plant species, all being subjected to disgusting, weird Canker science, like mere animals. Sorry, no offense.
None taken.
Look, over there, for instance. See?
Yeah?
What? That green lump?
That's Walter. He's an earthling cactus with his spines tore down.
How awful.
And that's over there, on the left, it's Boxtop, the box tomato plant. The Kankers have been genetically modifying him to produce cube-shaped tomato.
Why is that?
It's a great way to store food for transportation. More efficient than tomato-shaped tomatoes, I suppose. There's too many useless gaps between the tomatoes.
Oh.
But there's worse. Look over there behind you.
There? It just looks like a bunch of logs.
No, that's my sister. She was murdered.
Oh, sorry.
What are all these earth plants doing here anyway? I mean, the map we bought said no human had ever made contact with the Kankers.
That's why the university has been here.
The university? You mean someone from Victorious University has been to Kank?
Yes. You're not from the university, are you?
No, we're not.
With nothing to do with them.
Good. You're evil people. Smart, but evil.
And they've been here before, you say?
Yes. My name is Beachy, by the way. Not a very interesting name, Beachy the beech tree. It's sort of like calling a dog, Doggy. But there you are, it's my name and I'm stuck with it. Anyway, there was a university research ship. It came here some years ago. I was on it. So were all these other plants before elections. He gave us to the Kankers.
Why?
To please them.
To please the Kankers?
Yes. The Kankers have all this super amazing photosynthetic technology. They can get plant cells to do all sorts of weird things. Make weapons, produce drugs, create energy. They can even make cabbage taste good.
Wow.
In return for giving us up, the university will get to keep any weapons that the Kankers might eventually make out of us.
I see.
Far be it for me to criticize any vegetable life form here and now, but cabbage is certainly the most vile-tasting foodstuff in all the galaxy. Despite this fact, it seems to have remained an ever-present plant within human diets. According to Oster, the prime reason for this is the use of cabbage as a tool of child oppression. Most children would happily go through a whole day or even a whole week obeying their parents' every whim just so they could be allowed the one misdemeanor associated with not eating their cabbage. Oster also believes that those children who positively refuse to eat their cabbage are the ones who go on to become the world's great revolutionaries. Historical precedents abound in this matter. Neither Vladimir Lenin nor Albert Einstein, for instance, had ever been recorded eating cabbage.
So what are you doing here? You're not experimental subjects yourselves.
No, we're philosophers.
Sociologists of thought, actually. Philosophers are all screwed in the head.
Oh, why is that?
Don't know, you have to ask them that.
We're here doing some research of our own.
Research. I hate that word.
Don't worry, we're only researching people's belief systems.
You say that like your research is completely innocent.
Well, we're not making weapons or cutting open living creatures. No?
Do you have a ship?
A space van, yes.
Can you take me with you when you leave? Take me too.
Me too!
Can you take us all with you?
Well, we'd like to, but...
You've got to take us with you. We need to go back to Earth to see our families again, to touch the beautiful terrestrial soil, to feel the sun's glorious light on our pale leaves.
Okay, we'll do what we can.
Connor, I don't think we should get involved.
What do you mean?
I mean, we are here to do research. We can't become involved with the problems of talking vegetables.
But we're involved already. Listen, we'll take you, Beachy, but you have to help us solve two problems first.
Yes?
First, we have to get you out of the cages.
The key's over there.
Oh, sweet. And second, we have to get back to the Ladybird. That's our space van. But the Kankers are standing right in front of it. Or they were the last time we looked.
We can go up through a peduncle.
Through a what?
Peduncle. The blue mounds that fell through was a peduncle. There's bound to be a peduncle right near your van. They're everywhere.
Cool. Let's get started. Oster, you unlock the plants on that side, and I'll release these ones.
Connor, are we going to have room for all these plants in the Ladybird?
We'll squeeze them, sir. Don't worry.
We're only taking earthling plants. I'm not zooming around the whole bloody galaxy reuniting all of these weeds with their long-lost family.
Whatever, Oster. Just grab all the plants you can.
Oh, all right. Okay, which of you green things is coming with us? Right. Okay.
Let me do.
Yeah.
And me.
And me. Hey, hold it. Are you an earthling?
Yes.
You don't look like an earthling. I've never seen an earth plant with suction cup hands and fanged teeth before.
Experiments me, old mate. I used to be a daffodil.
Yeah?
Just take them, Oster.
Now which of you plants can walk and which can't?
I can. I can't walk, but I can go in the dark. Look.
Very nice. Right, walking plants on the right, non-walking plants on the left. Now, walking plants, please pick up the non-walking plants. Okay? Alright, are you all ready?
I'm not ready.
Hey, Oster, can you please carry that stinkwort?
Yes. Don't you fart on me, you little weed.
It's a natural process. I can't help it.
You better help it. This planet is smelly enough without your contribution.
So, which way, Beachy?
Well, if any doubts grow towards the light, it's an old forest proverb. It seems a little brighter this way.
Okay.
So, my name's Stinkwater's Megaphesida. You can call me Stinky.
It suits you.
What's your name?
I'm not going to talk to you, so you don't need to know my name.
Ow, why won't you talk to me?
Because you're a plant. It's an ugly little smelly one at that.
You don't have to be so offensive. Plants are people too, you know.
No, they're not. They're plants.
Ah, you speciesist.
In the past, it has always been the tendency of botanists to give plants long, lumbering names. But this tradition is dying out, however, due to the advent of several galactic-wide word limitation treaties. These treaties have been drafted to accommodate those species of reader whose average lifespan is measured in the amount of words read. For instance, the Vavoon beings of the planet Vavoon-Dreisen, whose single eyeball immediately self-destructs after reading its 117th word. This does not have to prove fatal in all cases, but it is particularly inconvenient when you have read 116 words and you find yourself driving towards a stop sign in peak traffic. Vavoon statistics show the most common cause of death on the planet is through the reading of danger signs, since the Vavoon reader is immediately blinded by the sign warning them about whatever situation they were just about to enter. Approaching too near a cliff face, for example, or lighting a firework while it was in one's mouth. Because the Vavoon beings seem unusually capable of getting themselves into such dangerous situations, the Vavoon landscape has become covered in even more danger signs. Millions of them are scattered throughout the city streets and country roads. This itself seems to do nothing but exacerbate the problem, because it makes everybody read more words.
Yes, here. The peduncle above us. It's probably the closest one.
It's a bit high, Beachy. Could I climb up on you? I need to put my head out through it so I can see the cankers.
Yeah, just balance on my branch. Do you see anything?
Oh my god!
What
is it?
What? Shh.
What is it, Comma?
Climb up, Oster, and take a look for yourself, but keep quiet.
Oh my god, the ladybird's been blowing up. Totally disintegrated.
Yes.
And the cankers are all dead, slain down where they stood.
Yes.
And the place is surrounded by unicorns.
Yes.
And there's hamsters all over the place.
Yes.
What destroyed the ladybird, and who killed the cankers? And what about the hamsters? How are they involved? And will Comma and Oster ever stumble upon the meaning of life? Tune in to the next chapter to explore these mysteries of this pointless thing called life.
This thing called Life was produced by Alan Marshall and Sylvia Losber for Posthuman Enterprises. The music for this audio novel was composed by Andre Owen, with incidental music and sounds by Steve Gallagher. No humans were accused or tortured beyond normal intergalactic agreements during the making of this show. This chapter was recorded entirely on location on the planet Kank.
Posthuman Enterprises presents This Pointless Thing Called Life, an audio novel performed entirely by electronic lifeforms. In the last chapter, Comma and Oster encountered many more adventures than they had bargained for. Firstly, crashing onto an alien planet called Kank, and then being shot at by the creatures there. Then, after they had fallen through a hole in the ground into a botanical dungeon full of enslaved experimental plants, they re-emerged on the surface to find out that all the Kank creatures had been killed by the Unicob security police who had travelled all the way to Kank from the same Earth university from which Comma had just graduated. Yes, it's a complicated bunch of circumstances, but if you don't follow all of this, don't worry, since Comma and Oster aren't at all sure about it either. Presently, Comma and Oster are hiding within a mound, along with Beachy and Stinky and a number of other talking plants they have just rescued. All of them are wondering what to do next.
What the hell are the Unicops doing here?
Nothing to do with me.
Perhaps they've come back for the weapons.
What weapons?
The bioweapons that they wanted from the Kanker.
Yeah, but why did they kill them?
Just for the sheer fun of it, probably.
Jeez, something is really odd with this university, you know.
Yeah, I know.
And something is really odd with the way they follow us around, Oster.
Don't blame me.
Well, it's not the universe who's to blame on this. There's something you're not telling me, Oster. Ever since I met you, the Unicops have been tailing us.
Hey, I don't know how they found us here.
But you do know why they're following us.
Just a minute. It's the hamsters.
What about the frickin' hamsters?
Listen, Comma, I got the hamster from the Neptune Sky Mall, right?
Uh-huh.
But unlike all the other things, I didn't steal it.
So?
I just picked it up at a uni shop, a university careers advice office.
Yeah?
The hamster was a freebie. You know, sometimes the uni shops give out free stuff. Pens and notebooks and...
And hamsters.
Uh-huh.
What sort of careers office gives out free hamsters?
Well, I thought they were for veterinary students. Anyway, look closely, Comma. It appears what I picked up from the uni shop was not a hamster at all.
It wasn't?
No, look carefully over there. The hamster was a tracking biobot disguised as a hamster, with lots of other little tracking biobots inside it that get released to follow us wherever we might go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's a hamster? Will you shut up, Stinky? Yeah, sure. But it's just that if the hamster is a small furry thing, then you've got one crawling up your leg right now.
Freaking hell! Get off me, you stinking bot! Die! Die, you little rodent!
God, if that's the way you treat animals on Earth, I'm glad I'm only a plant.
It wasn't an animal. Look, how many animals do you know have radars for ears and laser guns in their nostrils?
Oster, if the Unicops find us, we're in deep trouble.
You don't have to tell me that.
So what are we gonna do?
Time to eat some dust.
Yeah.
What does he mean, eat dust?
It's animal talk. I'll explain later.
Comma never did explain later, but for the sake of completeness, I shall do so right now. It is usually believed that the brain is the anatomical device which thinks up new ideas and creates original thoughts. But, according to the radical earthling psychologist Maxwell Hinchinbrook, this is not the way ideas and thoughts are created at all. Sure, the brain controls reflex actions and nerve impulses, he says, but you can hardly get a great inert lump of squishy pink meat to think up original ideas. The creative process, suggests Hinchinbrook, is the result of a contagious disease which is transferred via idea germs, microscopic creatures that live within the dust that inevitably shadows modern civilization. This is where the phrase, "time to eat some dust," emerged from. One rather unsavory side effect of the growing popularity of Hinchinbrook's germ theory is that an increasing number of the world's important thinkers now seem to spend most of their time licking the floor beneath the fridge and sticking fingers up their noses in a desperate strive to ingest the accumulated dust particles there.
I've got an idea.
What?
I'm gonna steal that Unicop space cruiser.
You're crazy, Oster. It'll never work.
Why not?
Because you haven't been drinking.
Well, desperate times call for desperate measures. Besides, I think the Unicops are too occupied with torturing the ion trees to notice me.
Maybe you're right.
Here goes. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Good luck, Oster. Who the hell are you?
Oster, who are you?
I'm your robot pilot.
Oh,
Oster, you're that scholar guy.
am I?
Yes, you are. You're Oster the scholar guy. You're a wanted man.
Who wants me?
We do.
Well, here I am.
What are you doing here?
Giving myself up.
You are?
But you're just a robot pilot, and you don't even have a gun, so I'd better go and give myself up to one of the real cops.
No, just stay right there. I'll go and get a gun from one of my colleagues.
All right.
Just stay there.
Sure.
I mean it. Stay there. Don't move an inch.
Yeah.
Unicop robopilots aren't incredibly intelligent machines, since they are mainly programmed to fly spacecraft which already have flight computers to do that job well enough all by themselves. So when the robopilot fled from his post to get a gun, it was totally unprepared for being ambushed by a dozen experimental plants, who variously wrapped tendrillous branches around the robopilot's neck, poked spines into its joints, and pelted it with box-shaped tomatoes. Having conquered the robopilot, the victorious plants rushed aboard the space cruiser. As Comma commandeered the pilot's seat, the plants rampaged through the cruiser, shouting loudly and celebrating their escape from Kank. Oster tried to herd them all together and quieten them down, while Comma pressed all sorts of flight buttons in an attempt to launch. When she did manage to find the right button, she sniggered at the Unicops who were looking up in surprise at their departing space cruiser. But the Unicops were soon jolted into action by a hover tank commander yelling orders at them to open fire at the stolen spacecraft.
The air and fire!
Higher, come out quickly, before the hover tanks start firing at us.
Like that, you mean?
Put the shields on. Good, we're protected from 3 direct hits now. Oh, great.
Yeah, but surely we should be high enough soon and out of their range.
Nope, that was a near miss. They can still reach us.
We really need a Randy thrust button.
What?
A Randy thrust flight button. It's the reverse of an Armstrong button. Instead of stopping a random flight path, the Randy thrust initiates one.
And that's good, is it?
When someone's firing hover tank rounds at you, it's very good.
Sure there is one. I mean, the space van didn't have an Armstrong button.
This ain't a space van, it's a police cruiser. It's sure to have a Randy thrust button somewhere.
And what will it look like?
A little round thing that you can press.
Yeah.
Just press them all.
Buttons. Who the hell invented buttons?
I got it, Oster. Now just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Despite its reputation, the Randy thrust flight pattern isn't exactly random, but actually a clever analogue of the mating motions of the nine-eye beasts of Buddhahold. To copulate, each nine-eye beast has to circle a potential mate at a speed in direct proportion to the age of its most recent bowel movement multiplied by the weight of all the rotting flesh trapped between its mate's third row of teeth. Then the oldest participant must jump over the youngest participant while humming quietly and sneezing gently in perfect synchrony with the present predominant cloud pattern. Add to this the fact that there are 7 sexes of nine-eye beasts, all needing to be involved, and you do indeed have a very complicated set of movements. Not really random, but sufficient enough for stolen space cruisers to evade hover tank blast.
I see it! How long do we have to put up with this? Well, that's better. Where are we?
Isn't that Earth? Really Earth?
Yep, it sure is.
But how can it be, Comma? It takes 3 days to get from Earth to Kank. How come it only took us a minute to get back?
The Randy thrust must have pushed the cruiser through a bunch of black holes, and since there's a homing beacon installed in the Navi computer, we automatically found our way back to home base, Earth.
Sweet!
How does it feel to be home, guys?
It's such a beautiful place. So much for bringing us home. Yeah, furs and all.
You're a star, Comma.
So where do you want to land, Beachy?
Most of us were dug out of the forest of Peruvia, near the Andes.
Ah, over there somewhere. I'll just put the telescopic viewer on.
I can't see anything green down there.
No. Let's see.
There's the city of Woftis. So the forest of Peruvia should be somewhere thereabouts.
I'll zoom in some more.
Why is there nothing?
Nothing.
There is something, but it's just a bunch of burnt-out stumps. The forest has been cleared away.
What, all of it?
That's what it looks like.
They can't have destroyed the whole forest.
Look for yourself.
That's terrible.
My God.
Here, zoom in some more.
Why?
Zoom into that bright yellow thing. More. Look at that.
What is it?
It's a bulldozer.
The worst human contraption ever.
Zoom in more. Look what's written on the bulldozer.
Property of VUW.
The university is totally ripped out the forest. What will we do?
The university is so horrible.
Guys, shh! I'm picking up a transmission. Someone's broadcasting a message over the Unicop bandwidth.
Fighters for academic freedom. Defenders of technological...
It's the Chancellor of the university.
Yes.
He sucks butt.
Listen.
Firstly, we have another thorn in our side. The anarchic and backward-thinking Noopers have still not given us permission to harvest the Mung bug from their planet. As you all know, the Mung bug is the last surviving creature in the galaxy whose organs contain perp, that vital fluid needed to circulate the nano-chembots through the bodies of our students. And if progress and learning are to continue to expand, we must conquer the planet Moop and secure its valuable crop of perp. The attack begins tomorrow at 9 AM sharp. I bid you the best of luck in this glorious pursuit of progress.
That's terrible. We have to do something.
Like what?
We have to stop the university. They slaughtered the Cankers.
And it was they who destroyed the forests of Perulia.
And now they're gonna attack the Moopers.
Yeah, they're right, Nasty, I know, but there's nothing we can do.
Well, we can at least warn the Moopers.
And replant the forests.
Yeah.
And rise up and revolt against the university.
Yeah.
It's pointless, comma.
How do you know that?
Listen, the university's been ripping up resources on Earth for years.
So?
To finance the construction of a huge Unicop battle fleet so they could then go and rip up some other planet's resources, which are then used to make the battle fleet even larger. So now it's virtually impossible to stop.
How do you know all of this?
I used to work at the university, comma.
Yeah?
Yes, until I realized what they were doing and politely suggested to them that it wasn't very nice.
So you should have.
For which they declared me an enemy of academic freedom, and I've been hunted down ever since.
But we have to do something.
Yeah, put up with it.
What?
Well, there's always gonna be bloody battles, and exploitation, and evil empires. They're all just part of this pointless thing called life. Don't blame me, blame the universe.
Maybe you're right, Oster. Maybe the universe has no point to it. Maybe life is just one pile of crap followed by another. But we can at least try to make our own little part of the universe a little less crappy.
Yes.
Yeah? Well, tell me how.
Maybe there is something we can do.
Yes?
Yeah?
The chemical bots that the university pumps into their students.
Yeah?
What about them?
Well, this cruiser's got loads of them on board, in the weapons systems and the computers.
So?
What if we just reprogram the chembots with new ideas? Something revolutionary.
Yeah.
Like what?
I don't know. Marx? Gandhi?
Yeah, and the eco-philosophy of the Foucauldian robo-Buddhists.
Well, yeah, if you like.
But how do we get the chembots into the students' bodies?
The Chancellor just gave the game away. We can use perp from the Mung bugs.
Ah, okay. You know, that could work. But we have to get to the planet Moop before the Unicops attack tomorrow.
Yes. Well, let's go do it right now.
Alright, let's go.
Yes.
Revolution, here we come. You better put your seatbelt on.
The way the university deals with aliens might be thought rather wretched, but Earthlings have always had a somewhat troubled time with extraterrestrials. A prime example of this is the early history of a scientific project called SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. Way back in the 21st century, before humans had become galactically important, there lived a famous Earth biologist, Dr. Sidney Schnoll, who earned many prestigious awards by sticking things into starfish and hurting them. The starfish he stuck things into all wriggled in pain, and many thought that Schnoll would have been aware of this, but alas, no. His mind was on the science. Anyway, Schnoll was also a keen SETIist, and so he spent much of his spare time energetically zapping hello messages into the heavens to contact intelligent space aliens. Now Schnoll's trust in science led him to believe that contact with any advanced alien would immediately make the Earth a far better place, since the alien would benevolently provide humanity with super amazing scientific knowledge that could then be used for doing good. The spurious nature of this assumption only dawned upon Schnoll when, after a night of particularly enthusiastic zapping, a super technological alien patrol ship landed near his house, before sending out powerful probes that were pushed painfully into his head. He wriggled madly, but to no avail. All was not a total loss, however, since the sad grunts and screams that he let out when each probe was removed were imaginatively used by the aliens to communicate benevolently with the Earth's communities of starfish. Thankfully, Kommer and Oster fared rather better than Schnoll when they contacted the Moopers. In fact, Kommer and Oster were so much welcomed by the Moopers, they were immediately invited to a first contact seminar held in their honor in a huge 50,000 capacity stadium. Now, the Moopers are a fiercely democratic and just people, believing that no individual is more qualified than any other individual to govern the planet. Because of this, managers of public projects on Moop are chosen randomly from the population via the rolling of electronic balls in a computerized lottery. And this, for your information, was how Kommer and Oster's seminar was organized.
First number is 13,401. Will ticket holder 13,401 please ask the Earthling your question?
Hello, my question is, why have you come here?
We have come here to warn you that you will be attacked.
And we have come here to ask you if we can have some mung bugs.
What for?
No, you've asked your one allotted question, 13,401. Okay, ticket number 40,984.
That's me. Who's going to attack us? Is it you?
No.
We just want the mung bugs.
You see, on our planet, there is an evil university empire that wants to control everything in the galaxy.
And the only way to fight back is to...
No, that's enough. One answer per question, please. Otherwise it becomes unfair.
But...
Ticket number 18,995.
Do you have hills on your planet?
Yes, of course.
Who cares about hills? What we want to tell you is...
A yes or no will do for that question. We've a lot to get through, you know. Ticket number 26,753.
Now, that's me. Do your hills go up or down?
What?
Do they go up or down?
Well, up.
Up? Yes, up. The same way you'll be blown.
You are respectfully reminded to answer the question asked. Due democratic process must be adhered to. Okay, ticket number 23,456.
In case you didn't know, our hills go down, mostly. So it's quite exciting for us to learn about...
Ask your question, please. Ticket number 23,456.
Yes, certainly. I've forgotten. Just a second. I wrote it down here on the back of my flipper. Guys, you are going to be attacked. In less than one day, the Unicops will come here
Does that answer your question?
I haven't asked it yet.
Oh, well, we have to move on. Maybe next time. Ticket number...
What next time? There's 50,000 of us here. What are the chances of...
Well, you should have been more careful with your question. Next number is...
All right, here's a question. Who made you the ball roller?
Yeah. You have not been authorized to ask a question. And besides, you know very well I won this position in a free and fair lottery.
You've become a lottery Nazi, you know that. Hey, Reapers, we have warned you. We've done what we had to do. Now, can we collect some mung bugs, please?
No, Earthling. You must wait a wee while before you can ask your questions. Now, where was I?
When will the attack begin?
Who asked that?
It was me, 5009.
Did I roll your number?
Shut up about the ball rolling for a minute. The Earthlings say we'll be under attack tomorrow. Surely we should find out as quickly as we can about...
Yes, we shall. It's by a due democratic process.
Shall we just get the bugs and go?
Yes, good idea.
Well, Well, I can't help that, can I? I just call whatever number comes out.
With little light traps and a soothing tonal song, Comer and Oster gently attracted the mung bugs out of their warm hiding places in the Mooper grasslands. They then carefully deposited them in very cute and humane little cages on the space cruiser, making sure to keep each family of bugs together while gently blowing on their whiskers to keep them moist. Then they put them into a blender and squished them into a syrup.
Right, there's a nice lovely pile of perp.
Beachy, you can shove your chembots in now. Neat.
Let's go change the world.
Late that night, Comer crash-landed the Unicop cruiser gracelessly into the university duck pond. While Comer kept the engines purring over, Oster took hold of the perp-filled blender and, with Beachy, he scampered out of the pond and across the campus, darting from tree to tree. This was made easy by the fact that Beachy was a tree, so that if a Unicop came along, Beachy would just prop himself up in a regal manner while sprouting leaves on strategically placed limbs to hide Oster. After some minutes of this scampering, they managed to get to the main hall of learning. Here, all the current crop of students were lined up in the dark in cushioned cubicles with purple fluid flowing through a tube into their arms. Oster crawled along the main hall, following an arterial tube backwards into an adjacent service room. The room was cluttered with chembot computers, vats of bubbling perp, and a couple of vendor machines. Upon one of these vendor machines, Oster set down the blender. He yanked out the arterial tube from the university's perp vat, then fumbled around in the dark with it for a few moments until he managed, with some difficulty, to plug it into the blender.
Yes! Flow, you fucking goon. That's it, Comer. Let's go!
Somewhere to now, guys.
Somewhere to drink. I'm parched.
So that was it. All they had to do now was wait. Wait for the perp to flow into the students' bodies. Wait for their minds to digest the revolutionary ideas within the chembots. Then wait for the revolt against the university. It was all so easy. Except, Oster had made a small mistake. Instead of plugging the arterial tube into the blender, he had plugged it into the vendor machine. The only thing he managed to pump into the students' bodies was lemonade. Now, as far as Comer and Oster were concerned, the best place to wait for the revolution to happen would be in a bar not too close to the Unicops. And this is how they came to be on Alfalfa Uglymax, a planet fairly remote from Earth, but sophisticated enough to import substantial quantities of kiwi fruit wine. For 6 straight days they drank, and as so often happens when humans drink, they also chatted a lot to complete strangers. They yarned with bog beasts, they told tales to weasel beings, and they even managed to talk a lost Canker into having a conversation as well. By the end of the 6 days, at least a couple of hundred weirdo vagrants and booze-head hippies had heard their stories, including, as you might already know, a drunken little spy-fly robo-camera. Yes, we have come full circle. Comer was now in my bar. The funny thing though, a revolt did occur on Earth. Some weeks later, the university was ransacked, its chancellor shot dead and its Unicop regime overthrown. Soon the policy of galactic-wide domination was halted. Then, chemical learning was banned, and the university was opened up to several photosynthetic plant species. But how could this have happened when all Oster had managed to do was plug a tube into a vendor machine? Well, In that 6 days of drunken storytelling, Comer and Oster had so inspired their multitude of eager listeners with ideals of righteousness and hope and purpose that all who had heard their story rose up to rally an even larger idealistic group of activists who soon became so enraged with the dealings of the university that they all went off to Earth to do something about it. In the final analysis, it seems it was not technology that changed the world, but enthusiastic storytelling.
This wondrous thing called life was produced by Alan Marshall and Sylvia Loeffler for Posthuman Enterprises. The music for this audio novel was composed by Andre Owen, with incidental music by Steve Dallin.